Virginia Tech out here making boss moves, hiring James Franklin to be their next head guy in Blacksburg. What do we think of this? We'll break it down. Spoiler, again, I think it's a great get by Virginia Tech. How does he fit? What does he bring to the table? All that and more right now. But again, make sure you're subscribed if you're a college football sicko. If you're a Virginia Tech fan, I love your head coach hire. I love your head coach hire, man. We'll talk about it right now. So here's what you just hired if you're Virginia Tech. You hired stability. You hired consistency. Everyone's going to talk about the record against top 10 opponents. We'll get to that in just a second. All this dude did at Penn State was win 10 games a year. 104-45 as a head coach in Happy Valley. Won 70% of his games. Consistency, stability. That's what you're getting in James Franklin. And not to dunk on the ACC, but like if you're consistent and stable and you recruit how James Franklin has recruited at Penn State, you're going to be in really good shape to be a conference title contender just about every year, at least be in that mix, be in that Tier 1 mix, and by that logic, be a college football playoff contender just about every year. So I want to address the top 10 thing because that's going to be the loudest noise you hear around this hiring for people that shout from the back row, why'd they hire a guy who's 4-22 against top 10 opponents? That number, while you have to mention it, while it's not a good look, that's pretty much an Ohio State-Michigan stat. And Ohio State and Michigan won national championships in the last 3 years. 2, felt like they more often than not had a better roster. Of that number 4-22, 14 of those 22 losses came to either Michigan or Ohio State when they were ranked in the top 10. And again, in the majority of those games, I'd probably guess all of those games, I think both of those teams had better talent than Penn State did. Now, as the head coach, at a certain point, you have to make the difference with coaching and scheme and culture and all those things when a team has more talent than you. I get that. But let's not pretend like James Franklin's out here against equal level competition just getting the doors blown off him. 4-22, 14 of those losses against Michigan and Ohio State. It's not a James Franklin problem. It's a Michigan and Ohio State problem. How many top 10 teams every year is James Franklin going to play in the ACC? One, maybe? No knock on the ACC, but again, let's understand what the landscape is. The number of opponents he's going to play in the ACC relative to what he was playing against in the Big Ten, it's not the same. So that top 10 number, while it's fun to throw out there and people love to dunk on James Franklin with it, it's not the same landscape. It's not. Also, in the 12-team playoff, that top 10 number I don't think carries nearly as much weight as it did before. Because 10-2 in the 4-team playoff means you were getting left out. He goes 10-2 in the 12-team playoff era in a 1-year sample size before this year, and they're a play away from going to the national championship, a drive away rather, against Notre Dame. You drive down, get a touchdown, game over. You're going to the national championship. And so I get this thought process, but I think there's far too much stock put into the top 10 record when it comes to James Franklin and what he's done over the course of his career. Again, dude's stable, consistent, what Virginia Tech needs and what would win and what will win in the ACC. Also, he's a recruiter. And he's not just a recruiter in the sense that he's put together good rosters at Penn State. Those rosters at Penn State, a lot of those dudes were from the DMV, the area around Virginia Tech, that if you lock that down, man, a lot of talent in that area. Good enough to win the ACC, and dare I say, do more than that. A couple of players from that area that James Franklin recruited at Penn State. This is just a short list, man. After just a quick 10 to 15 minutes looking at these classes for Penn State last couple of years. Denai Dennis Sutton, Delaware. Katron Allen from Virginia. Zakee Wheatley from Maryland. Keandre Lambert-Smith from Virginia. James Franklin has relationships and a network in the DMV area to recruit top talent that he had at Penn State. Now you get to pitch, hey, stay home. Hey, come make Virginia Tech a wagon again. Think about the firepower James Franklin's working with now. I think that he's going to do a phenomenal job at Virginia Tech, and I love this on every level for Virginia Tech. Very quietly, James Franklin had a top 15 class, it feels like just about every single year at Penn State. You take that to Virginia Tech, you're going to be within that top tier, talent-wise, every single year, roster-wise, within the ACC, which at that point, I think you're at a spot where it's okay, can you win the games you're supposed to win? James Franklin winning the games you're supposed to win in the ACC, again, makes you a conference title and college football playoff contender more often than it doesn't, by a pretty wide margin. So this is great for Virginia Tech, but I just got to say this out loud because this is, I think, a massive snafu on Florida State's part. Florida State, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? The head coach that would have been perfect for you just got hired away from a team in your conference. So not only do you miss out on a head coach that I think would have been great for you, would have recruited the state of Florida, again, stability and consistency, which is the opposite of what you have right now in Mike Norvell, and now you got to go coach against that guy in the conference to go win the conference and be in the college football playoff should the format stay the way that it is when it comes to these auto bids for the conference champions. All because you wanted to mess around and see what would happen at the end of the year with Mike Norvell? All because you wouldn't pony up? This is an absolute swing and a miss for Florida State for dragging their feet. Now, could you go hire somebody good? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you go hire Kenny Dillingham, we're having a different conversation tomorrow. I don't think you're hiring Kenny Dillingham, is my point in all this. This is, I think, a testament to Virginia Tech doing the right thing today and Florida State saying, we know what the right thing is, but we're going to give it a little bit of time. And now you're paying for it. So, again, Florida State, this is 100% on you. You were slow to have action, and now you're going to have the consequences of it. Virginia Tech, you were quick to have action, and now you got James Franklin as your head coach, which I think is an absolute home run on every level for you, and I think he's going to do great things in Blacksburg and brings what you need. Recruiting, stability, consistency, winning the games you're supposed to win in the ACC at Virginia Tech. You're going to play for a lot of exciting things. I love this. James Franklin to Blacksburg. Hokie fans, if you're new to the channel, again, make sure you're subscribed. But let me know in the comment section how you feel about your new head coach. Looking forward to hearing from y'all there. Cato on the ones and twos, myself, JD PicKell. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We will keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.